We'll start the meeting for the silent prayer. President Vibhu Pulvaran's mother is not keeping well, so he is interested to me because Senior Vice President Hari Kumar is also not in town, so I'll be officiating today. So we'll start the program with a welcome address by Philip Navel.
Presiding Officer, Vice President IISc, Chief Guest Mr. Anshul Gupta, Dr. Anil Joseph, Honorary Secretary, Past President, Managing Committee members, and my dear members from KMA and students. Good evening. Today we are very lucky to have Mr. Anshul Gupta, who's coming from an institution with a history of more than 187 years. I think in the next month, in another 3 weeks' time, Indian Railways would be completing 187 years. And from the days of Lord Dalhousie to current Union Minister Ashwini Vaishnav, Mr. Anshul Gupta, the man who's behind revolutionizing Indian Railways, which is, I think perhaps, or I think it is third or fourth largest rail transport system in the world, and one of the largest employer in the country. The role of Indian Railways in the lives of everyone in our country is very important, whether it is in terms of employment or the GDP or the transportation, or even in the case of the Indian Railways or the rail transport contribute to the GDP. So on behalf of all present here and the managing committee, I formally welcome Mr. Anshul Gupta, Advisor, Railtel Corporation of India, and who has an illustrious career as railway former general manager in Indian Railways. Mr. Algiers Khalid would be formally introducing him, and I will take this opportunity to welcome each one of you to this meeting, and Mr. Khalid and Dr. Anil Joseph. Thank you.
Distinguished dignitaries on the dais, good evening and a warm welcome to the 8th LeaderInsight program event session of the year and the 3rd this month. Nice to see a large audience despite the extended weekend because of Independence Day. Our president was supposed to come here today, scheduled as like every other meeting, but unfortunately he could not make it today due to a surgery for his mother. Happy to inform you that she's keeping fine. She's recovering from the surgery, and everything is okay. He'll be there next week. Senior Vice President Mr. Hari Kumar is also away in Kottakkal, and as per protocol, I am honored to preside over the session today and also to introduce our guest speaker. Our invited speaker today has flown in from New Delhi to share his insight on revolutionizing rail traffic in India. It is my pleasure to welcome him and introduce him to you all. Let me start with a real 45-year-old story. Among the 250 students selected for an All India Engineering Entrance Exam in 1979 were two young boys in their teens from completely different backgrounds and geographies. One was from UP, fluent in Hindi, while the other was a Malayali from the small town from Alumni in Kerala. The latter was only armed with basic textbook knowledge of Hindi. Both were selected to pursue a 5-year electrical engineering in the batch of 60 students at Aligarh Muslim University. He was a topper and a front bencher in the class, while yours truly was a backbencher, often near the bottom of the class ranking. In our 4th year, we had to choose between low power and high power section. The best students gravitated towards high power, which promised jobs those days in public sector undertakings like BHEL, NTPC, Engineers India, and NHPC. While low power, then was a precursor to electronics, had fewer takers. Despite being the topper, Anshul Gupta had the foresight to choose low power, while I had no other choice. Mr. Gupta was selected. When we completed the course, we were selected for the prestigious UPSC batch of 1984 and joined the Indian Railways as an officer in the Indian Railway Service of Signal Engineers. He has had a very successful career in both education and service. While the boy from Alumni didn't get any campus placement and went on to do his master's in business management from TFI Management Institute. Before Mr. Gupta's current assignment as advisor of Railtel Corporation of India, he served as General Manager of Northeast Frontier Railway, following approval of his posting from the Appointments Committee of the Union Cabinet. Prior to this, he was an additional member on the Railway Board, Ministry of Railways. He has also worked as Additional General Manager, West Central Railway, and as Principal Executive Director of Railway Board. His time as a Group General Manager in Railtel was marked by his role in high visibility and profitable projects such as National Knowledge Network and National Optical Fiber Network, which aim to improve the broadband penetration and bridge the digital gap in the across northeast of India. During his 40-year stint service with the railways, he also served as Divisional Railway Manager of Delhi Division of Northern Railway, Adar Division of Southeastern Railway, and his additional charge as Divisional Railway Manager of Ranchi Division of Southeastern Railway. Mr. Anshul Gupta has vast experience in various roles, including operations and maintenance of railway, signals and telecom systems, project management for modernizing these systems, vendor and project development in railway, signaling and telecommunications, and quality inspection of materials manufactured for railway. He has been instrumental in developing policies for the introduction and absorption of modern signaling systems for the Indian Railway, particularly the indigenous developed train collision and avoidance system, which was recently the topic of discussion in the Indian Parliament. Mr. Ashwini Vaishnav mentioned about it in the recent discussion in Parliament. Mr. Anshul Gupta also completed a Master's of Engineering in Computer Science, Computer and Information Science with specialization in Artificial Intelligence from the prestigious Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. He was a rank holder in IISc 2. Later, he pursued another postgraduate studies in public policy from MDI Gurgaon and George Mason University in Virginia, where he wrote a thesis on the development of an integrated logical system for the dedicated freight corridor in India. He has also attended a specialized course in artificial intelligence at the renowned Carnegie Mellon University in USA. He has extensive experience presenting technical papers at international levels, and his recent address in the International Rail Forum in Bangkok on revolutionizing rail traffic in India caught my attention online, which led me to request him to come and share his thoughts to KMA members. So here he is with us today to share his expertise on the upcoming transformation in rail mobility. Now let me welcome Indian Railway Service Engineer, Mr. Anshul Gupta, to address us.
Thank you. Thank you, first of all, my friend Algiers, for remembering me and inviting me to meet all of you and share, though in a very limited time, whatever I have today, to interact with what new things Railways is doing in making Railways again the great railways which it used to be or it should be. So that's the topic, and what the role we are playing right now, especially the people who are into, say, in the area of IT and telecom and the railway signaling. So that's a topic. So my heartfelt thanks goes to KMA, its all executive members, as well as all of you who have come today to have these discussions to take care. Because it's a learning which we get out of these discussions, which motivates us as you can see the engineers. It's not the front benchers or the back benchers who decides, but ultimately it's the learning which we receive. And backbenchers, they are always in the balcony class when we go to a theater, and you know who are at the front. So that's the thing I just wanted to share. So don't go on the number of slides, there are many, because it's a standard presentation, which maybe a few slides I have added here and there. But it basically the technical as well as the managerial innovation which Railways is trying, and a small part which I am playing there. So I have tried to cover many of things, and then there are a lot of management, you can say, lessons also available, which we have imbibed. We're trying to change the way Railways run. You have already seen how the metros are coming up, how even the Kochi metro has done so well, because today I traveled in water metro, and it's what we discussed maybe 10 years back when we came to Kochi metro, and seeing the same thing, realizing and serving a part of the beautiful land, God's own country in this, you can say, the beauty queen of Arabian Sea, as Algiers has introduced Kochi yesterday to me. So thank you so much, and I think I am open for interaction at any time during this course of presentation or even after that. So this is my topic, and before I start, there are 2 or 3 slides on RailTel Corporation, because I want just to introduce, but it's a company which is totally different than other companies or the government companies, because it's a government company, but it doesn't do much business with Indian Railways. It competes with private sector, and it has already been approved yesterday as a new Navratna. So it's that journey which it has played, and it has one of the largest, you can say, optical fiber network in the country. It has, this shows the thing. It has 2 world-class data centers through which it serves most of government organizations, especially in the strategic sector. The companies like AT&T, Google, they're all our partners. So this is, and then the last 2 points, if you see, the competence development, because what we see when we imbibe or adopt these new technologies, there is a huge gap between what is needed and what is available in the field of the technical as well as managerial side. So that's what we are trying to cover through the various services, the IT-based services or online or cloud services. So these centers of excellence, this has been my always dream, that how can we set up those centers of excellence which can train people. So this should have been the last, but I am covering fast because this is where the role of each one of us, whether it's from the industry, from the government side, from person, from academia, it comes, because a center becomes a center of excellence when the people who come out of this thing, they do wonders for the country. And today, when Dr. Joseph I was just discussing about the sports field and other things which he is doing, that's what we meant. So these are the three center of excellences. We have started working on this, and we find like hydrogen train and quantum. These are the new things, even digital twin. So hydrogen, today we discussed with in the Kochi metro KMA also, that how even the water metros we can convert into a more recent, you can say, environment friendly energy source, that's a hydrogen fuel cells. So we have seen that over past, say, few hundred years, the development world over has been transport-led. You can see, well, when there was a need for international trade, the shipping and all those things, the harbors were created, the coastal areas were developed, so and so. I'll not go into the details, but this has also created a lot of divide between urban India, rural India, forest India, and hills. So I have worked in my last posting in the hills. I've seen the condition, the people, how they work, how we are connected with them, and there are lot of things have to be done. So, coming back to the topic, now just see this picture. This is what, even after building metros, most of the metropolitan or cosmopolitan cities, and the peak hours, they are still like this. How to transform or reform such type of scenarios? That's what railways comes into picture, and that's what we are trying to do. That how to bring or construct a railway system, whether it is urban railways like metros or rapid metros, or you can say a long distance railway system or high speed railway, which can take care of such types of congestion which is taking place, and to take care of or take away, you can say, the road vehicles from road to the rail. So that's the idea for this transformation. But what to do? In Indian Railways, whenever any person goes to a station, this is what he asks: is this the way? So this thing we have to change. Today, a brief discussion discussing about the Japan, where the 6 p.m. train will come at 6 p.m. So nobody asks. But in India, whosoever goes to the station, this is the question. You see the Delhi metro is rush, and you see this is Jaipur metro. The metro is running empty. Maybe Kochi also, there are certain days where it's like this. This is again from the Kerala only. There, you can say the suburban trains. There is no place to even stand. And delays. And again, this is a picture which I faced because of landslides, huge casualties, where one of the most beautiful hill station I treat in the country, the Haflong, it was damaged by like what we faced in Vena. So same thing happened there, and the station where 3 passenger trains were standing, full of passengers, 3,000 passengers, but somehow I got the hunch that something might happen. I moved the passengers in one train, so they could save them. Within 15 minutes, the entire hill came down on the town, and the station was flooded like this. You can see the trains, empty trains falling down. And this is a track. You can see my team and myself standing on one side. This is how the river took away entire hill. So this is what happens if we do construction without because our expert is there, geotech, you can say analysis or studies. That's what is happening also. So why can't the forest, which is happening here also in my that elephant, lot of elephant were dying, and they are sacred animals in many places of the country and world also. Because it used to be there right of way, and then we have grabbed that right of way. And this is what we have created. Again, the forest life. This is the, you can say, species, the only species in the world which we call the Holongapar gibbon. They are into that Assam, the upper end of the Assam. They are very 700 or 900 only remaining. But we created a divide by building a railway line where this type of people, they can't feed their family on the other side. Oh, this is a comparison. If you see the focus on the various transport, we are not like roadways. We are now, you can say, number 2 in the world. But the load of population is so much that even those roads seems to be used, you can say, lesser. Railways, we are comparable, maybe not to that level. Waterways, again, we have lot of waterways, hardly any traffic we move. Metros, we are doing exceedingly well, but is it required, or where it is required, are we constructing it or not? That's the question. So to take care of this thing, the government came out with this, you must have heard about this, NIP. So this is what the national infrastructure pipeline, that we should create infrastructure in the country which can serve the intended goal so that India becomes what the world is, maybe in 2047 or before that. So that's what, and if you see the bottom 4 lines, the 80% of the investment which will come from the government is into conventional power, railways, urban and housing is basically for the metros and roads. So 80% is going into this thing. The government knows that if we improve this, the country will grow like anything. And another thing is there which I will cover. So 1.4 trillion US dollar is the investment which government has planned for next, say, 1 decade of 7 years. So railways also made the same thing, because if government makes, then every department also makes its own mission. It's another thing that how this will be carried out, how they do it. So this is the vision, because as the people, as Algiers and other people who are into shipping industry, they know that the logistic cost in the country is one of the highest in the world. It's 16, 18%, where the world standard on an average is 6 to 7% or 8%. Many countries which are doing exceedingly well, there the cost is 2% or 3%. There are many countries who have this kind of. So railways has a big role to reduce this thing, because to carry a freight, a container in hinterland is, at times it is as costly as moving a container from India to, say, Europe or US. It's so costly. So that's how, so these are the ABCD which railways have made, and they have a plan that by 2030, it has already been pushed by 3 years again because of the COVID, how the 14% of the logistic cost should be brought down to less than 8%. And then modal share, which is hovering around 26, 27%, it should be the rail's share in the transportation goes to 40%, which is what US carries or Australia does. And passenger, which is at present 8 billion, and that too the capacity is not there, it increases to 12 billion. So these are the 4 steps which they have said. Technology is a big factor. So the basic idea is how to improve safety, because safety is paramount. If safety is not there, nothing will improve. So that's how the safety is important, and efficiency, security, speed, throughput and capacity, and competence development. I have not mentioned here, I mentioned earlier, but that's also very, very important. So this is what internationally now people are trying to do, that how can we create a mobility index of mobility where a city becomes a 50 to 30 minute city. Like from the place you live to the place you work, you can say go within 15 minutes or within less than 30 minutes. From one district to other district, maybe 1 hour, maybe regional, if it is stay within the state, maybe 2 to 4 hours. When you go interstate, overnight, and end-to-end, like a country like India, can be traveled by railways in 24 hours. And of course, the freight, which is bread and butter, can be moved guaranteedly, the freight from, say, Dibrugarh to, say, Kochi, within 72 hours. Because there is a policy which says that your train, the private freight operators who are there, that you can move it in 72 hours, but mind it takes 14 to 17 days. There are a lot of issues in integrated logistics which we say, but there are a lot of gaps which has to be filled, which we are trying to do. So the safety, security issues are there. These are the technologies and capacity and customer satisfaction, which is paramount. If customer is not happy, nothing will move. You keep on adding infrastructure. Logistic cost will remain very, very high. So this is very, very important. And I just talk about the positive spillovers, how this can be done. Then cost, and last is competence development. So infrastructure, the initial cost, the capex, how the cost of ownership of the infrastructure should be kept low as a capex and operational cost also. So just is the capacity generation and what customer wants. As a customer, I am also a customer of some of this thing. Everybody is a customer, or he may be a passenger or freight customer. This is very important and very interesting. Whenever any transport or rail projects are financed, any investor, they want that return on their investment should be very high. A customer, the passenger, they want that the tariff or the cost of service should be very low, so that they can't meet. So how we can create an infrastructure where the cost to customer remains very low so that he can use, and it's a big attraction for them. So that's what the intelligent financing does, and that's what positive spillovers and externalities. Like if you build any infrastructure, can it lead to development of new industrial towns, new townships, or maybe a station where people think that they can do their daily course, many things which they have to go out if they while walking, if they can finish it. What is happening in Gurgaon? Because it takes from Delhi in the morning hour, Delhi to Gurgaon, it takes 2.5 hours just to go to that distance of 30-35 kilometers. So they simply wake up, move to this thing, and go to gym in Gurgaon next to this thing. So a lot of these gyms, etc., they have come up in Gurgaon, not in Delhi. So these are the positive spillovers which people are, but it's not the positive spillover. This is the ills of the transport sector which we are facing today. So this is various things which now customer wants, that mobility hubs, which already the country have, like in Kochi, we have where all transports, whether it's a water, road, maybe ropeway, rail, metro, they should be within same complex, so that when you transshift from one to other, it doesn't take any time. So this is the concept. Then positive spillover. Suppose some school is there, training school is there, cultural center is there, gym has to be. Can be located into a railway station. So that's what the thing. Logistic cost, again the logistic hubs, where how we design new lines, where this at the production center, the center where the products are getting manufactured, they become you can say the logistic hubs. or new line passes through them. Then newly designed stations. Mobility again, these are the things. And the last is user acceptance and prioritization. How this infrastructure becomes a very healthy engagement for citizens or people who use it. Then the facilities which we can create in trains at stations, again the same positive spillover. So I'll just cover the first thing, the station, because a huge investment is now taking place in the railway station. Because railways first thought that under PPP people will come and invest in railway station, but that did not happen. So railway on their own they are investing. So maybe a big size station, some investment maybe 300, 400 crores each station railways is investing. We are calling it world class station, but the station is Indian style, providing world class amenities or airport like amenities. That's the world class station which now government is creating, and there are nearly 1,000 stations which have been selected now, and the funds are being provided right from 50 crore to say station as big as New Delhi or Mumbai, which will be 2,000, 3,000 crore investment which government is doing. These are the four things. Okay. There's 7 areas where this is the survey from the passengers, what they want. Like Northeast, they said that they will not go to a station where there is no center for the local culture, local arts, local cuisine. So these have been now covered. That station is not only the station, but they should be having all those things based on the survey and the feasibility studies which is done. The gaming zone is one thing which I have added, and already it is under consideration, where because of the e-sports or e-games, now it's a new generation is into it. So it's a lot of companies like Netflix, etc. They have shown interest. It's again the PPP basis, no investment, only these companies and e-game developers. This is down below. This is a watch. This is a phone. So you are walking. It's a Japan Railways right now. You're simply watching and a metro is walking, and your watch becomes a ticket. The same watch you can use on a bus or any other public transport. That's a 15-minute concept. And the bikes. Japan, Netherlands, many countries, they have provided a space on the metro as well as in the stations to use bike as a last mile connect. So this has become very popular. It decongests stations. It makes the city stations cleaner also. This is the connecting new areas, the high speed. These are the 4 phases, 2051. It's a big plan where government wants to create this thing. The first line is likely to be operational by 2025 end or 2026 between the Mumbai high speed. And apart from there, every year some 6,000 to 7,000 new lines or multi-tracking is being done by railways. Borders, because we have very sensitive borders, especially where I work. So lot of investment. Whatever investment is being nearly 5 lakh crores. It's $500 million of Indian rupees, crores rupees is being invested there to build in these railway lines. Then sustainability of that infrastructure. It's not that some landslide happens and it goes. There have been times where railway, the track used to be the place where the flood victims, or they used to take shelter at the railway station, and because they were so stable. Today, Algiers also discussed this thing, but now they are not sustainable. Many of these new lines, they also gets washed away. So what is wrong in the high-speed rail? This is a few the tunnels, because now Indian railways have adopted that all-weather railway line has to be built. Like we have already approved a project from near Guwahati to Tawang, which is at 14,500 feet, and it has to 90% will be tunnels. Longest tunnel being nearly 40 kilometer long. So this is tunneling technology has come up. The structural engineers, the geotech experts, they have done wonders. I am very thankful to especially the Kerala, because when I started working, lot of projects were suffering. We were short of geologists and geotech experts. Then when we came out with a advertisement, a lot of people from here, they went there. And now those projects are running like anything. We will be connecting those state capitals like Aizawl or Imphal or Kohima, maybe this year or next year, and even take lines to Nathula, Balong. They are all Chinese borders where the Indian Railways want to build these lines. So these are the insights. The Sikkim line which being built. These are the various tunnels. There are more than 130 tunnels are being built. This is the you can see the border where the railway lines are getting the blue, the purple. All these countries, the neighboring countries, even in Bangladesh we were building. So now those projects have been. Nepal we are building. Bhutan one project we started inside toward Thimphu. So these are the work in Myanmar also, but it has stopped. Our idea is to reach to the ports there in these countries, so that our trade becomes paramount and India becomes say third largest economy. That's the idea. So border states near the neighborhood also very important, especially in Southeast Asia. So these are the four aspects, that skill, speed and society, which we are now focusing on. Now the next comes the most important, safety and mobility, newest technology. I briefly talk about few of the technologies, and that's Kavach, which is now in news, because I was a part of this thing, the development, and the meeting with Prime Minister took, our Honorable Prime Minister took in February 2000, and we were working on some imported system. He told, I made a presentation, he made very clear, no, we want indigenous, and then we had few slides of this. At that time it was called Train Collision Avoidance System. He said, we have to go about this. And that's how the same month we sanctioned works for 25,000 route kilometers, which is now coming up, and this month tenders for nearly 8,000 kilometers will be out. And Indian Railways is looking forward new, you can say, the local players, vendors who can come and start developing this technology. There is a huge market for everybody. Then artificial, because this is my area also. So a number of projects already been commissioned in many areas, because the policies and specification I have personally made and part of that thing. So the left is where the OFC, distributed acoustic sensing, which detects and issues alert for forthcoming hazards. It's a new age technology using data analytics and other things, where any landslide which is likely to happen in the future, or riverbank erosion, flood field, crack defect, it gets detected. So, and alerts are generated to the train driver or the control office that something is likely to happen. Even by chance, even before any earthquake is to come, 5 minutes, 10 minutes before, there was like elephants started running, so we could detect that thing, that something happened, and these animals, they are intelligent enough to detect that thing, sense that thing. And right side is the digital sensors, where basically various types of sensors, most of them right now being imported, but they started getting manufactured. It's a vibration or any type of sensing you can think of, for the bridges, for the track, for the structures. So this is being slowly getting introduced, so that it becomes a predictive maintenance as well as operations aid. This is how many, you can see the areas, and I think photographs are from Kochi Metro, where there are some defects in the structures which could be detected because of these advanced AI tools. These are wheels which have become hot. So if it start becoming hot, it will be detected. This is again the OFC track condition monitoring. These are the signatures we capture. and we can say that something has gone wrong or track has deformity or vehicle has deformity, and immediately people can go or the train can be slowed. So this is the next generation control and command, the centralized traffic control system, which helps in improving mobility. And a lot of funding is coming, the 70,000 crore, this is not 1,000, it's a 70,000 crores investment is taking place, including LT for railways. It's a different specification, but railways will have its own, let's say, safety critical application. So railway has its own development phase, and soon this will be available all across the country. So this is how the new control centers will look like. So these are the 6 areas in which this control and command system will work, right from controlling the brakes, health monitoring, increasing speed, because without improved control and command systems and signaling, you can't increase the speed of the train. You can't have a mobility or number of trains move, say, in a period of 1 hour. So that's the restriction if the modern signaling and telecom systems are not there. So that's the role it plays. If you have the most advanced, you can run more trains at a higher speed. This shows that it's a very crude way to show that normally between 2 signals you can have either no or one train, but when you have intermediate signals or sections, maybe virtual or this thing, you can push more trains. So this is again the freight. Currently, we have so many players in the freight movement, end to end, and they are all disjointed. So this technology is bringing everybody on single platform, the integrated logistics system, so that it becomes a transparent end-to-end system available, cutting cost, improving mobility. This is happening, and maybe within the next 4 to 5 hours. So you can add new lines, etc. That is what is happening. Like the metro of Lucknow, which was not, that Jaipur was not needed. They went for that thing and there is no passenger. Because where the metro was built, there was no traffic. And logistic systems were lacking there. That's how, and somewhere alternative paths, that last mile is not available. So people will converge when the office time is there, so there's a huge rush. So that's what integrated logistics and passenger information system can do. Again, this is another thing which we have started working with in various departments. The digital twin, it's a data analytics and artificial intelligence of where a mathematical simulation equipped with artificial intelligence can create a virtual replica of any physical system or operations. That's what we are working with the Indian Railways, oil industry, even defense, and many such you can say organizations, where this will help in taking care of any future faults. And there is a dashboard which will give you everything. Even when you have to construct a metro, you have a digital twin available where the trains virtually will run, and whenever you add or delete anything, you add to this digital twin, it will come out with results which show that whether you're doing right or wrong, including passenger forecast. I don't know whether this will run or not. This was a simulation where it was showing that how digital twin can work. Yeah. Play. No? Yeah. Sound.
About the challenges faced by Indian railways in optimizing their routes. In a country as vast and diverse as India, ensuring smooth, efficient and safe railway operations is a monumental task. The solution might lie in the innovative technology. The first step involves data collection and integration. By integrating existing IoT sensors and devices along the railway network, Predco captures real-time data on a plethora of factors. This data includes everything from train movements to track conditions, weather and more. All of this information is stored in a centralized data lake, creating a comprehensive data repository. Next, Predco constructs a detailed digital representation of the entire railway network. This includes tracks, stations, and signaling systems. Dynamic simulations model train movements, taking into account the various factors influencing route optimization.
So this I'll just leave. It will be available I think online also. You can see this thing. So this is what the digital this thing is. Digital twin does, and for any industry we can do it. Cyber security, because now there is a big. This is I think one of the few last slides also. Cyber security, we could say, it's a thing which is happening and which will happen. You may know, you may like or not, and there are huge this thing. India gets a lot of attacks, denial of services or direct breach of data. So this is what it's a Railtel and other this thing we have already tied up. We have set of data centers, and government is also funding, not only in India, outside also, to set up cyber security. And most in the last 3 years, these countries have also suffered, especially the railway infrastructure. So they are already available online. That's what we are working. Quantum is again, it's not the normal computer, it's a quantum computer. And the quantum technology is the one where we are working, which cannot be breached by any malicious, you can say, hacker or this thing. So this is, again, the railways have been, world over, have been the first target, because most of the strategic movement, military movement takes place, and then they breach and stop or derails that those trains. So that's why the railways, whether it's the US or Russia or many other countries, where they have started, China, where they have started implementing or building quantum links for data transfer or control on railways. These are again. So Railtel is also providing the VSS, which is again the face recognition system and other thing. And we are proud that in India we have the world's largest free Wi-Fi, free public Wi-Fi. So this is what we have provided. Half an hour it's free. So it's the largest free public Wi-Fi in the world. So with this technology now, once this has come, they have the first right of way, and whenever any alert comes, the train is stopped or slows down so that they can pass. So, but I think we have forgotten him. So there is no technology they did. What we did, made it. So this species does not climb any artificial, you can say, that link. If you make iron or wood, it will not, and it never comes to ground in its life cycle. It remains on the trees. So we build some trees, bushes, shrubs, so that they can. So this is the innovations and managerial skills which helped it. And the video is the success story is available also. Where now the NGT, which imposed restrictions for elephant and this thing, the new development can take place. Now those infrastructure, whether road, rail, powerhouses, are now getting built. So thank you everyone for, maybe I have surpassed my time, but thank you so much. I am open for any question, any interaction, any suggestion.
The floor is open. Any for questions?
Yeah, the first question that is regarding this herd of elephants. That's a nice thing that you are going to take, because it's very sad that about 5 to 6 elephants were jammed at near the Coimbatore, the Kerala border, and so in addition to that, actually, why don't you have an elevated railway? Because these herds will have a different path, which that will not hinder either the railway speed or the herd's movement.
Okay, it's a good question, because it has been decided, because NGT does not permit. It's for the existing railway line, because it cannot be diverted or taken to elevated. But new infrastructure which has to be built in a forest area, reserve forest area, you can't build first of all. If you have to build, it has to be elevated. Now this is being followed.
My question is,
privatization is happening in a rapid pace in almost all areas. When it comes to railway, I think it is in the same pace. We have been hearing privatization for a long period of time. Even now, most of the things are not, the key areas are not privatized. Why it is happening?
Can you repeat your question? I'll just.
Privatization is happening in many areas compared to Indian Railway. Indian Railway is in the same pace. It is not in that compared to that PPP model. Why it is delaying?
Privatization, I must say, railways will not go for privatization. I am not the authority to say, but as of now, that's a decision. Maybe some areas which are not strategic or say sensitive, they have been outsourced to private sector, like cleanliness at the stations, in the trains. Some it has been met with success. Some we are not successful, but those areas which are not core areas, private industry are now coming in a big way. Like stations, because PPP was not successful. So now railway is investing, the stations are being built by private sector, and once the stations are available, this will be leased out to private sector for setting up all those things which have been mentioned there.
There is a perception prevailing in Kerala that trains cannot be moved so fast in Kerala. But Vande Bharat also introduced, we want fast trains, because when I used to travel in train most of the times, because trains are very slow, running very late, and for a long time it is there in some station.
Okay. I have also faced the same question, and because most of the long distance trains which come from northeast to, especially to the various stations in Kerala. So the honorable member of parliament from here, whenever they used to come, they come to meet me and say this thing, that when the train enters Kerala, it becomes slow. So there is, that's what the technology we have shown. Those works have been approved, like how we can push more trains, number one. Number two, for increasing speed, there are certain restrictions, like either you build more lines, for which the land is the issue. So either you build elevated track, or you build capacity on the existing track itself. Number one. Number two, Vande Bharat has the potential to run at 160, but the track which is there, it has to support 160. Right now, the priority for Indian Railways, they call it golden quadrilateral and its diagonals, which they are making it fit for higher speed. Higher speed means the 160, 180. So the phase 2 will come, this portion, which they call high utility network. So high density network is the priority one, which they were supposed to complete by 2024, but now the new timeline is mid of 2026, and the work on this high utility network has also started, where the track structure have to be, you can say, strengthened to permit higher speeds. Rolling stock, like introducing one Vande Bharat will not solve the problem, because there are other trains who are moving slow, so they will slow down this Vande Bharat also. So that's why all trains which are running on that section have to be converted into what we call LHB coaches. So LHB coaches, those trains, a few new train coaches are now getting installed. So we call it rolling stock and track, which will now slowly be converted.
So, sir, one question. You know, currently your Vande Bharat is running on small sections where probably the saving to the passenger would be perhaps an hour and a half or two. Why can't you introduce this Vande Bharat on long distance? You know what I mean is that, say from Jaipur to Kerala, or you know, in between sections where there's high density, that would probably help to save many hours of travel for the passengers. One. Second aspect is Kerala has a very high density of people. Not always possible to widen the roads, etc. Why can't the railways think of introducing suburban services? Suburban services, I'm looking at a situation where you have connectivity between, say, Ernakulam and Trichur, Ernakulam and Kollam and Ernakulam and Kottayam. So with this to start with, you would probably move a lot more people from road to rail, and at a later stage, consider the entire stretch right from Kanyakumari to Kasaragod and beyond onto the southern services.
So both the questions, I think I'll be able to answer that thing also. First is the sleeper trains, because the present design of what Vande Bharat was introduced was with the sitting arrangement. So now the specification and new sleeper, Vande Bharat sleeper trains have been approved, and now slowly they will come. So long distance, phase 1, they will be introduced on the section where overnight journey is there. Second, they will be, say, long distance, maybe one end of the country to the other. But slowly these will come. So don't worry, they will come, because production capacity is also one of the area. Though now the private sector, as the privatization was going on, they have been involved. There is a company, Russian company is there with RVNL, Rail Vikas Nigam Limited. They have got the order. Similarly, there is a Titagarh, they have with Alstom and I think BHEL, they have got the order. So 200 trains, slowly these trains will come, apart from other trains, because both are needed. Vande Bharat, sleeper train for longer distance and this thing. Second, you said within the Kerala, you know that Silver Line project, which was basically 530 kilometers of this thing. So I was one of the committee members which gave the approval maybe nearly 8 to 10 years back. And I can't comment on why this project has not been taken up, because all government approvals were there, and where the conflict is there, where it is not there. But the solution lies there, where if all the stakeholders, they should sit together, solve the land acquisition problem, decide on whether it's elevated or something. Technology is available, funds are also available. The cost is another area. Somebody tries to bring down the cost, somebody wants to jack up this thing. And another thing is that the positive spillover. There was a proposal of you can say subsidizing the cost of this thing, railway line, by tax infusion. Like wherever you named about these very beautiful towns, wherever this train goes, there will be certain development which will come in future. So say new township comes, new industrials in this. So there was a proposal already built in the proposal that like GST, stamp duty, a part of that thing should be infused into this capital cost, which I don't know why it has not happened. So I can't comment fully, but this is why it is said. The day it is solved, railway track of 500 kilometers can be built in 4 to 5 years.
So what I had meant is suburban trains similar to what you have in Bombay and so on. Those I got you, because suburban train, what you said, this was basically, there are now the three concepts. One is long distance, second is RRTS, Rapid Rail Transport System, which government has already approved, and near Delhi it is being done. Other state government like K-Ride is there in Karnataka, which they are already the suburban. This because Kerala, the entire stretch today also I was discussing is like a suburban. So habitates or entire section you will find this thing. So this project at the time was basically to take care of that thing. Maharashtra, they have started working. MP, they have started working. Even Assam, when I was there, so they also created a company which has to do it. They have also started. It's not only the rail, but even Assam, they have gone for the ropeways also, which have been integrated with this thing. Even waterways, they are thinking in those terms. So it is not only that you will go through the car or land-based this thing. You can go on the elevated track or elevated ropes. So these are the things, but somehow the certain, you can say obstructions or something, you can say conflict of interest is there. Once this is solved, these are constructing a railway line is not the issue. That's what I was saying.
Sir, my question is connected with safety. So the Kavach system is outstanding. I read about it, and a lot of work, more than a decade, has gone into it. But I think it's expensive and cannot be implemented on all the trains in a quick manner. So I was just wondering, when I use my app, cell phone for Uber, when you start, you see about 10 to 20 Ubers. Then when you click your destination and I use it, I get just one car, and the track for the one car to me is very clear. Now using this and also the latest information in artificial intelligence, advanced GPS and quantum computing, can't you have a simplified device as a dashboard for the driver who will just be told if some obstacle is on the track or if some train is coming, so that he can brake without other connectivity and other costly aspects involved with Kavach? Just taking this app.
Okay. I'll not go into the technicalities and what the technology does. You can say the transport, especially rail and airborne, this control and command system, they are built on fail safety principle. Fail safety, if any failure, suppose brake fails, but train has to stop. So can you ensure that thing? So that's the principle of this Kavach. Or if speed is says somewhere some track has suffered because of flood, where the speed has to be maintained at 20. So the train should not move beyond 20. So that's what Kavach does. If one train has derailed in the, say, between two stations, automatically it should be detected. Kavach does it and automatically brakes. So it's not only that detecting this thing. Congratulations that you have developed this app, and it has application.
It's a concept.
Okay, so this is what it can be done in train information to passengers, because there's a huge gap available where do not get this thing. Every train is already provided with GPS based. You can say that OBU onboard units are already available, which gives you can say location of all these obstructions also. But it has no interface with the braking. It has no interface what is happening all around the track if some hill has fallen or something, which Kavach does.
The idea is the Kavach is very expensive.
It's not expensive. It is cost is 1/4 to 1/10 of what European countries have. That was the basic reason of having an indigenous system which can compete with those, and we can even export it. Because a system which is installed, say, on the station, if you take an imported system, one system was around 5 crores, and when you install Kavach, it's the cost is it was nearly 2.5 crores per kilometer. Here the cost is 50 lakhs or 60 lakhs.
Any more questions? So I will request Managing Committee Member Mr. Shaktimani, the Director of Finance of FIRSTE, to come and give the memento to you. He's the Managing Committee. Now I request Honorary Secretary Dr. Anil Joseph to propose the vote of thanks.
Good evening all. So acting president and the program committee chair, Mr. IISc, our treasurer Dilip, who gave the welcome today. What an amazing talk on rail by Mr. Anshul Gupta. It was really enlightening to know the development which is happening, and a lot of new technologies which is coming up and taking the railway forward. and it's one of the most rapid system which is going to cover the area. So it was a very beautiful talk covering different aspects and what is currently happening, what is the vision of India taking forward, and what are the systems which is indigenously developed in the country. Thank you very much for giving us a wonderful talk on that, and a very big round of applause for you. In fact, I was very impressed by the discussion we had in the ground floor at the office, where there is a lot of investment from railway in the sports also. And out of this, we were just discussing that this largest population of the world, we have only 6 medals we got in the Olympics. But then out of that, a major share has been given by the railway, the team, who has a lot of investment is made in sports structure. As part of Regional Sports Center Kochi, we always try on promoting sports. A very important aspect on the rail also, but I feel that Indian Railways has to go in leaps and bounds, and it is growing quite well. So China has recently come with a train which can touch 1,000 kilometers per hour. So that is the latest system which is going to happen, and our bullet trains coming up to the 350 odd is the kilometer per hour target. So Vande Bharat, our own indigenously developed systems. So a lot of things are happening, and railway is making a huge change. And thank you very much for enlightening us on the various aspects of the railway. And today we have our past president Shastri with us, and Madam, thank you very much for being here, and also our MC members Lekha, Tom and Shaktimani with us. Thank you for joining us. And also we have a wonderful array of members from KMA as well as the students who have assembled here. It will be, I think it is a very useful thing for all of you, which will be enlightening us you to understand what is the railway impact and the connectivity which give. And I think it is the 3rd largest railway network in the world. 4th largest network in the world. So a lot of things are happening, and hopefully what latest told, the safety component or predicting that's a very challenging thing, but then they are working on that with the Kavach and digital twinning and a lot of latest technologies which is being connected to that. So all the very best. So we will see that it is happening. And today we have our young mind member, co-chair Nivedit also with us today. Thank you for joining us. Now next week we have a couple of programs, all programs lined up. Thanks to the chair. August 23rd, next Friday, we have Mr. Jayaram Ishwaran on Leadership Insights from Sports, Independent Director, Jindal Stainless Limited and Concord Biotech Limited, alumnus of IIM Bangalore will be there on 23rd. And on 30th, we have the Inspire series, Leadership and the Art of Communication, Learning from Dan Masters. Dr. Matthew Abraham, MD, DM Neurology, FRCP, Senior Consultant will be talking on that. So these are the upcoming events. So request your valuable presence for that events also. And once again, I thank the speaker and all the members who are assembled here, and along with our supporting team from our KMA secretary for making this event a grand success. Thank you all, and see you next week on next Friday for the next session. Thank you very much.
जनगणमन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगल दायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे।
Dude, you were saying the setting up a business abroad.